In tonight's Tax Insider, uncovering taxpayer waste. Americans pay more than $1 trillion to Uncle Sam every year. And while a majority of that money goes toward keeping the government afloat, some of it's spent on special projects. Now, two new reports are shining a light on how some of the money is spent. Joining me with the latest is David Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. All right, Dave, let's start with the report your group worked on in conjunction with the Animal Justice Project. It's called Deadly Doses, Recreational Drug Experiments on Animals and How It Wastes Millions of Tax Dollars. Now, your report looks at 95 federally funded experiments that analyze the effects of recreational drugs on animals. Tell us more about the project. How much is being spent on this?
Well, thank you, Morris. And there's always been this talk of the National Institutes of Health and the money that they're wasting on silly and ridiculous research projects. So what we did was, actually, it started last year when this report came out about $3.2 million going to get monkeys drunk and seeing what their behavior is. So we looked at not really alcohol, but other recreational drugs. And we have found that, you mentioned the 95 projects, $150 million have been spent over the past 5 years on these projects. And we did a top 10 list, and we came up with the top 10 projects worth about $30 million. And Morris, these projects would break your heart. I mean, if you're an animal lover and you read this, it's going to break your heart as an animal lover, but also as a taxpayer.
Now, one experiment cost more than $9 million, and it tested the effects of LSD on rabbits. The project has been going on for the past 30 years. How is this type of funding justified?
Well, that is the question that we're trying to get to, is how do you justify this when the NIH is an institution that should be looking at bigger issues like cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. So we're concerned that money is being diverted to this research, and we're not really researching the things we need to. And the researchers themselves, they justify by saying, well, this is science, and we're going to get some great information on this. But Morris, here's a problem. $1.6 million to see if female rats would be quicker addicted to cocaine than male rats. So they spent almost $2 million. And what they found was there is no difference. There is no difference on who's going to get addicted quicker, a female rat or a male rat. So it's not even proving anything. So they can't even justify that it's good science.
Right. Stop the project, move on. But as we know, once something gets funded in D.C., it's hard to kill it. The report also uncovers a lack of oversight on these experiments. Is there anyone in Congress who's calling for an end to this?
Unfortunately, there really isn't. We don't see the outrage with these projects. We saw the drunk monkey research last year, and there was about 2 or 3 weeks where members of Congress said, this has to stop. But where's the follow-through? We always wonder, where is the follow-through on this? Congress needs to hold hearings, and what I want to see is not only the NIH officials, but the researchers themselves to come up to Congress and to justify this money, and also justify what they're doing to these animals. Because, as you mentioned, we partnered with the Animal Justice Project, because this is just, I mean, it's sickening to see what they're doing to animals, and they're getting no scientific benefit out of it.
All right, let's switch gears, Dave, to another report. The Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction says U.S. taxpayers footed a $43 million bill for a natural gas filling station in Afghanistan. There it is. The project should have cost only $500,000. Still a lot of money, but a big difference between the millions and $500K. How does something like this happen?
It starts at the very beginning, even before money is being spent, is that Pentagon should sit down and say, listen, okay, if we're going to build this project, how much is it going to cost? And then do oversight throughout the course of the project, of the program, not afterwards, not after it's built. And that's the problem, is we found out about this after it was built, and there's really nothing we can do. Obviously, we can tear it down, but that money is still being wasted, that $43 million.
Who's using natural gas in Afghanistan?
Well, apparently they did this in Pakistan. They built a gas station for $500,000, and there's a lot of natural gas there, but no one's using this station.
Exactly.
Therein lies the problem, is that no one is using the station, so we're not even benefiting from it.
How is Congress reacting to this news? Is anything being done to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, let's blame Congress for a second here, because they just approved a budget that increased defense spending. The Department of Defense has plenty of money. You don't need to give it more through this last budget deal. So when you have an agency that spends $600 billion a year, you're going to see $43 million just kind of disappear, and no one's really going to be outraged. luckily, Senator Claire McCaskill from Missouri, she was really dumbfounded when she heard about this waste. But again, the follow-up. What is the follow-up to this? Are they going to institute any sort of steps to make sure this doesn't happen again? Or is the next project already being built? Here's the question, Mars. Is the next project already being built that we don't know about, but after it's finished, we're going to find out it's a huge waste of money?
You find out, well, it looks like we've got some bipartisan support also. Paul Ryan's now in charge. You ought to talk to him. Dave Williams, Paul Ryan, get together. Let me know what happens.
He has my number, that's for sure.
All right, and you need to get his too. Dave Williams, president of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Good luck, Dave.
Thank you.